Thank you so much, everyone. You may take your seats. Local Government and Member of Parliament for San Fernando West, the Honorable Brian Manning, Minister in the Ministry of Finance and Member of Parliament for San Fernando East. His Worship, Mayor Junior Regrello, Mayor of the City of San Fernando. Ms. Michaela Pandey, daughter of former Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Mr. Basdeo Pandey, representing him here this morning. To the CEO and Deputy CEO of the San Fernando City Corporation, members of the San Fernando City Council, Mr. Mark Thomas, Acting Team Leader at the UN Resident Coordinator's Office, Ms. Amanda Solano, Head of Protection at UNHCR, other UN country team representatives, icons of San Fernando and their families, specially invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Despite the late start, which we are very sorry for, we hope that this morning's proceedings will cause everyone to feel a bit of a lift as we celebrate so many milestones here in San Fernando and look towards the future. My name is Fane Richards, and I'm the Communications and Advocacy Officer at the UN Resident Coordinator's Office, and I'm Chair of the UN Communications Group. It is my distinct pleasure to be here with you in the city of San Fernando this morning to unveil what we call the SDG story of San Fernando, a mural that captures some of the very many ways that San Fernando has contributed to national development in the past and in the present. And it also reflects the aspirations we share for a very prosperous, very inclusive, very sustainable San Fernando, and indeed Trinidad and Tobago, as we forge a bright future. This project is a partnership with the San Fernando City Corporation and the United Nations team here in Trinidad and Tobago, and it comes at a crucial time for all of us. On August 31st, we celebrated 60 years of determining the country's future as an independent nation. On September 18th, the country commemorated 60 years since it joined the United Nations, one of TNT's very first acts in its fledgling days of independence. And in just about 2 months, the year will come to a close, and the world will have only 7 more years to achieve the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. This is truly a crossroads that encourages us to reflect on the past by honoring what we have achieved and the people who helped us get here, to take stock of the present, and to redouble our efforts to shape the next decade of TNT's progress. We will begin this morning's proceedings with welcome remarks from our dual co-hosts. First, I'd like to invite our representative from the UN country team, Ms. Amanda Solano, Head of Protection at UNHCR Trinidad and Tobago, to come to the podium.
Thank you, and good morning. The Honorable Paris Al-Rawi, Minister of Local Government and MP for San Fernando West. The Honorable Brian Manning, Minister of the Ministry of Finance and MP for San Fernando East. His Worship, the Mayor of San Fernando, Junior Regrello. Ms. Michaela Pandey, CEO Acting of the City Corporation, Ms. Heather Crawford. Deputy CEO Acting, Ms. Jamil Ali. Members of the City Council, Mr. Mark Thomas, Acting Team Leader of the UN Resident Coordinator's Office. All my colleagues at the UN system, welcome. Our esteemed San Fernando icons and their families, especially invited guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. As I was preparing for this speech today, I felt deep admiration to learn more about Trinidad and Tobago history and social studies. I was fascinated to learn about the icons featured in the mural, and I trust that once unveiled, you would also feel in as much awe as I was. As UNHCR, UN Refugee Agency, we're working together with the United Nations system in Trinidad and Tobago, with the national government and with civil society organizations to promote the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, including the global aspirations for the SDG implementation by 2030. We're pleased with the support that we have received from so many stakeholders in Trinidad and Tobago, including the Planning Ministry, to help Trinidad and Tobago achieve these goals. Also, a fun fact, when I was preparing for this speech, I learned that one of the creators of the SDG is a Trinidadian national. His name is Mr. Elliot Harris, who's also one of the chief economists at the UN system. although I don't think he's from San Fernando. I'm sorry for that. From the humanitarian perspective, it's important to reflect that achieving these goals would mean a healthier, safer, cleaner, greener, and more equitable world, and ultimately a better life for everyone. Admittedly, sometimes thinking of reaching the SDGs by 2030 can seem sometimes challenging. As Faye mentioned, we only have 7 years to go. But by looking at the achievements shown in these murals today, this gives us hope and also gives us evidence that these objectives are attainable. Education SDG number 4 has long been a point of pride for Trinidad and Tobago, and this is education. With San Fernando boasting some of the best schools in the country, of which our icons are proud alumni. As a fundamental human and constitutional right, all children, no matter who they are or where they come from, should have access to education. And this is one of the foundations in achieving SDG number 8, this in work and economic growth, as well as SDG 10, reduce inequalities. As we look to a brighter future in Trinidad and Tobago, the SDGs also align perfectly with the vision for a society of innovation and digitalization. Education has always been the key to unlocking the potential of a bright and passionate youth. Through Generation Unlimited, we recognize together with the authorities of Trinidad and Tobago the importance of nurturing the boundless enthusiasm, imagination, and creativity of our youth who are eager to shape the future and the fate of the planet that they will inherit. The UN is proud to support Trinidad and Tobago in developing and upgrading education curriculum that will prepare the next generation for the new world of work, one that has evolved to take advantages of their innate receptiveness to technology and critical thinking. San Fernando General Hospital and Teaching Hospital is a world-class example of SDG number 3, good health and well-being. So too are the city green spaces and paths, such as San Fernando Hill, that give residents somewhere to exercise and unwind by promoting mental health, physical well-being, and also combating diseases. The delicious street food, bustling marketplace, carnival queens, and proud Paran and Panmen are quintessential emblems of SDG 2, Zero Hunger, SDG 5, Gender Equality, and SDG 11, Sustainable Cities and Communities. The United Nations is proud to share with the people of San Fernando and the people of Trinidad and Tobago this mural as our gift to the nation on the 60th anniversary of its independence and the 60th year of being member of the United Nations. They are a celebration of who you are and who you can become. The location we've chosen, the gazebo here in Harris Promenade, was deliberate, as we hope these murals will serve as a reminder to thousands of San Fernandins, as well as other visitors who pass by, of their role in getting Trinidad and Tobago, and in fact the world, to implement the SDGs by 2030. May the mural be a beacon of hope, of inspiration, and a reminder of the greatness of Trinidad and Tobago has, and this continued effort of a sustainable future. I thank you.
Thank you so very much, Amanda. To the city of San Fernando now, I'd like to invite the Mayor of San Fernando, His Worship, Mr. Junior Regrello, to the podium.
The Honorable Faris Alrari, Minister in the Ministry of Rural Development and Local Government and Member of Parliament for San Fernando West. The Honorable Brian Manning, Minister in the Ministry of Finance and Member of Parliament for San Fernando East. Deputy Mayor Dr. Ferry Hussein, Councillors, Aldermen. Permit me to recognize the President of the Greater Chamber of San Fernando, Mr. Kiran Singh. Our very distinguished icons, ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure for me to be here this evening to address this very important audience in celebration of this event. Permit me to just provide some information on the history of Harris Promenade. It was in 1846 when Lord Harris, 2 months after arrival in the country, was approached by the administration of San Fernando for a parcel of land known as the Paradise Estate, which is from Harris Promenade going south for extension of the then town. Lord Harris, in his wisdom, said, I have no objection, providing schools are provided. We have 3 schools in the area. Churches will be provided. We have 3 churches in the area, a hospital, police station, and other essentials. He also spoke about a promenade and a leisure space for the people of the city of San Fernando. And in this regard, we are here this morning, a very important, iconic space that represents the people of San Fernando and is very dear to us as this council have embarked on a mission to rejuvenate and bring back Harris Promenade to its pristine position it used to be many years ago. It was right here that Dr. Williams launched the People's National Movement in 1956. And so many of us established ourselves on this very important space known as Harris Promenade. In fact, allow me to apologize for this late start because there's a new development where persons are fed here for 3-4 times per day. However, yesterday they were fed almost 12 times because being Diwali, there were remnants of the day's event, and food were being served here yesterday even as late as 9:30. I was here last night looking at the surroundings. So the corporation required to be here very early this morning to wash the venue down and get it prepared. So I want to apologize for this. But if we desist from feeding the person, the homeless person, that do not have this problem, because this was not the intention of Lord Harris in 1846. Having said that, we'll continue to do what we have to do to make Harris Promenade, and of course it will be what it's supposed to be after all these years. It is my esteemed pleasure to be able to commemorate this artistic achievement, presenting this mural to the city of San Fernando. In fact, when I was approached by the UN to do this, we were saying, well, how would we condense all those persons who have shaped the landscape of San Fernando into a very small 8x4 mural? There are so many persons who have made a contribution in all stages of activity, but we were able to bring it down. In fact, we went back and forth many times saying, no, we could go with this, no, we could go with that. There was an issue where Esplanade, I think, is on the mural, and there were those who take objection, why we have Esplanade? Why don't we have Bacon Shark? Then, of course, the UN have issues with what's happening with the fisher folk out in the sea, so and so. So we were to make some adjustment and make it so collective that represents all the persons that have contributed to the development of this space. So we were able to get around that issue. This bandstand was not the original bandstand. This was created somewhere in 2016. And when we were told that we would raise the bandstand somewhat to give it a little more height, because the previous one was just about 2 feet off the ground. The contractors surrounded the bandstand, galvanized and built up construction. When we saw it, it was this height. So it's about how practical is a bandstand of this height could work and function. So we have this space around here. What do we do with this space? So when Mr. Manning was nominated as a candidate, I invited him and said, we have a plaque here for your father's contribution, so many others. We started the process. And as the term coming to an end, we saw we didn't have time to finish. And there was United Nations to our rescue with this mural, cover all that we had intended to do, covering all the persons who have contributed. So I want to really commend them for this. San Fernando has long held a reputation of a cauldron of artistic excellence across multiple genres. And today, we proudly present a commemoration of an accumulation of talent of our citizens, past and present, to inspire those for the future. Using this powerful visual medium, our intention is to capture the imagination of those who see it. For them to pause, even for the briefest of moments, and reflect on the achievements of those great men and women. To remember the countless moments that have been carefully carved into the identity and history of San Fernando. A beautiful tapestry representing the struggles, successes, the overall tenacity, and wherewithal to withstand and overcome all challenges with grace, poise, and may I say, San Fernando style. It is imperative as a member and a patron of the arts that I implore all in attendance today to pause and reflect on the dedication and enormity of effort that are expanded by the men and women depicted in the mural towards the pursuit of art, culture, politics, and other spheres of activity. It is only now that our society understands the breadth, scope, and magnitude of possibilities that a successful career in the industry of arts and culture can provide. The successes of Marshall Montano and Kess rest firmly on the shoulders of luminaries such as Black Stalin and Raj Shoti Ai. Today's ballerina dancing in London may very well have been inspired by Terence Mohammed, the costume designer in Los Angeles by our late Lionel Jagasa, the artist opening their first show in Manhattan by Casamon. This tremendous positive impact imparted by this industry on our community and its influence on molding the future of our youth can no longer be left to languish in the shadow of their conventional career. Furthermore, it is our duty to entrust our culture and traditions onto the youth and inspire their own version of greatness. As many veterans of this industry are fully aware of and can attest to, a career in the industry of art and culture can and has afforded countless individuals the opportunity to travel the world. In so doing, it provides a unique opportunity to view this transient life and live through many different lenses and filters. It is our hope that this mural be a flashpoint of inspiration in passing on our artistic and cultural history to the next generation. The orange economy of arts, music, and culture represents a major facet of the service industry which deserves the reconvergence of focus. But why the arts? Why music, dance, visual arts, culture, politics, social contributions? All of this has been linked to the physical manifestation of our spirit, and as we can all bear witness, the spirit of Trinidad and Tobago resonates with these captivating works. Proponents of which provide a much different perspective that has the power to make the mundane magnificent and what is perceived as the ordinary to works of marvel. To write the books, compose the music, choreograph the dance, and paint the art that will magnify the inherent beauty of this world and life. John F. Kennedy is quoted as saying, "If art is to nourish the roots of our culture, society must set the artist free to follow his vision wherever it takes him." If we are to take these words to heart, we must continue the journey that these great men and women have begun. Another factor which must be considered is the strengthening of our community bonds. All art forms hold with them the capacity to provide powerful platforms on which we can encourage our youth into positive behaviors that will enhance their lives and that of the community and country. To show them the possibilities that lie in dance, art, and culture, to deviate from the norm, to be unique and influential on an unprecedented scale. To see the world through different eyes and bring that perspective to change our community for the better. It is my sincerest hope that this mural sparks the imagination of the few and begins to trend in our city that will lead to the inclusion and larger representation of the artistic community of San Fernando. Every new start is an opportunity to excellence. All that is needed is to tend to the flame so that it burns for generations to come.
Thank you so much, Your Worship. This ode to San Fernando and the celebration of the Sustainable Development Goals, we are getting ready for our next speaker, who is responsible for the local government portfolio and cabinet. So he understands what sustainable development looks like at a very local level. He's also the MP for San Fernando West and, may I say, a very proud Sando man. To tell us about sustainable development in the community of San Fernando, I welcome the Honorable Faris Al-Rawi to the podium.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much. His Worship the Mayor, Her Worship the Deputy Mayor, as the first citizens of San Fernando, and with all protocols observed otherwise. Good morning, everyone. The Lord has granted us a little bit of reprieve from the rain this morning, and therefore, as I see drizzles coming slightly right now, I think I'll accelerate into welcomes and remarks. It gives me great pleasure to participate in yet another Sustainable Developmental Goal champion event promoted by our good friends at the UN and their multiple agencies. Most people don't realize that there are separate packages of the United Nations in operation. But I'd like to say that over the many years that I've had the pleasure of working with the United Nations in its multiple forms, that it has always been an entity in its various forms that I support wholeheartedly. Today we unveil a mural And the mural is an ode to San Fernando, what it is in the past, what it is at present, and where we wish to go to. As the Minister of Rural Development and Local Government, I can assure you that all 30,000 of us at the ministry work as one. This ministry provides a connection. We connect as we have adopted sustainable developmental goals at the hospital. You may not have noticed, but we launched the work that we're doing to beautify the hospital and living conditions right just behind us. As we have adopted our local government reform, most of you may not be aware that the money that is associated with education for maintenance of properties in schools, etc., that comes to local government. Most of us may not be aware of the 771 municipal police that operate in local government, coming to a number of 1,500, providing safety. That's health, that's education, that's safety. In terms of commerce, in San Fernando, we can boast now of a redevelopment of our city. Better scapeways, landways, look at our waterfront development. Look at the urban environment that is being created. Today from this podium, I'd like to say to the residents of Lesotho West in particular, as I listen to my dear friend and brother, Pandit Maharaj speak on the weekend, development of property, coordination, education, or schools and positions is alongside traffic management. And I can give the assurance as MP for San Fernando West that all pleas for traffic management are being coordinated as we start at phase 1 at Todd Street redevelopment. As you look to the bottom where it connects to the beginning of the waterfront, that remobilization of traffic is critical for us all. So I'd like to say to the people of San Fernando, as we coordinate with sustainable developmental goals, number 17 being the partnership to get it done, that you have the partnership of the Ministry of Rural Development and Local Government. We are 19 entities, 30,000 people. San Fernando is the example of the coordination of these goals. Right here on this promenade, as we treat with some of our homeless issues, mental health, where our centers for human kindness and delivery can happen, that's part of the development. And I wish to compliment the San Fernando City Corporation in its performance. You may not know, but San Fernando City Corporation, 2 months before financial year end, was the leader in the pack, 95% efficiency. Where other corporations were at 1% and 2%, I kid you not, San Fernando City Corporation has held the medal for being best performer in the position. So congratulations to you, Honorable Mayor, and the representatives of all of the local government areas, Deputy Mayor, as I salute you all in your performance. I'll end by saying, there is no greater pride that one can have in the spaces that we live in. Spaces involve people. People involve communities. Communities involve hope, vision, and prosperity. To the team from the United Nations, you have our unstinting and undying support at the Ministry of Rural Development and Local Government. And to those of us in San Fernando, East and West, Point-a-Pay as it becomes part of what we do, just stick around. Our development will blow your mind as we include in that development all of the sustainable developmental goals. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Minister Al-Rawi. Today we are very fortunate to have many icons of San Fernando with us. They've been specially invited because of their personal achievements or the achievements of their family members who could not be with us today, and the many ways that those achievements have inspired a nation, carved their place in our history, and set the stage for others to follow their footsteps to shape this beloved space that we call Trinidad and Tobago. Mr. Patrick Manning was one of those Sando natives, a former Prime Minister and the longest-serving parliamentarian in the country's history. His son Brian has followed in his footsteps, representing San Fernando East. Mr. Manning is one of the icons featured in the mural. To tell us about the way that living in San Fernando shaped his and his father's perspectives, I'd like to invite the Honorable Brian Manning, Minister in the Ministry of Finance and MP for San Fernando East, to the podium.
Ms. Amanda Solano, Head of Protection, UNHCR Trinidad and Tobago, His Worship Junior Regallo, the Mayor of the City of San Fernando, the Honorable Faris Al-Rawi, Member of Parliament for San Fernando West, Minister of Local Government, Ms. Michaela Pandey, the former MP for, I believe, Oropouche West. I won't suffer you the indignity of introducing you as somebody's daughter this morning. I know what that feels like. Especially invited guests, members of the media. Thank you so much for coming. Well, I grew up in Marabella, but so much of my childhood was spent right here in San Fernando. And every time I'm here on the Promenade, I remember that in my young life, my entire life was along the street. We would attend St. Paul's Anglican Church every Sunday. I attended San Fernando Boys RC right down the street here every day. We would go to church service right next door, and then of course later on, further down, went to Presentation College. And of course, if you attended Presentation College, after school you had to lie on the library corner and La Peaks. So a lot of my young life was spent right along this street here, and it's always a nostalgic and fun experience to be back. I'm reminded of my father and his father, and the sacrifices they made, and their focus on their own personal growth and community development. My father grew up in Coquet Village, and he walked to and from school every day to Presentation College. His father never owned an automobile, never owned a car. He rode a bike everywhere he had to go for his entire life. Some days my father would go to school without a school shirt. He'd have to wear a flour sack because it's all they had. And I think about the sacrifices that he and his father made so that I, in turn, would not have to suffer those challenges or indignities. And I'm extremely proud of what he has done and what he achieved, and his love for the people of this country and for San Fernando. My father worked tirelessly for the development of the country. It was what he was passionate, and some would say obsessed, about. He worked diligently for the Vision 2020 goals, and of course that too has informed our Vision 2030 goals going forward, which is in line with what the United Nations is offering. As I stand here on the shoulders of my father and my grandfather's achievements, San Fernando stands on the shoulders of the achievements of those that have come before us and worked extremely hard to ensure that this community can become possibly the best in the entire country. As a quick reminder, I will let you know exactly what the major 17 UN goals are. The focus is on no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality, clean water and sanitation, affordable and clean energy, decent work and economic growth, industry, innovation and infrastructure, reduced inequality, sustainable cities and communities, responsible consumption and production, climate action, life below water, life on land, peace, justice, and strong institutions, partnerships for these goals. Those are lofty goals, and something that we should all strive for and be extremely proud of. I'd like to thank the United Nations for all the work that they have done in Trinidad and Tobago in terms of guiding our policies and showing us exactly what we can do and how we can do for ourselves to achieve the lofty goal of developed country status, which is what my father always wanted for this community. I listened to my colleague, the Honorable Faris Al-Rawi, speak earlier, and he spoke about all of the developmental goals and all the achievements that we are definitely going to get done for as long as we are allowed to do so. As I remind you, we are one San Fernando, East and West. The achievements of San Fernando West benefit San Fernando East. So we are also always happy to be involved and to support. San Fernando West is the more industrial side of San Fernando. San Fernando East tends to be more residential. So the more programs, more projects, more development, it creates jobs in San Fernando East, and we are extremely grateful for those opportunities. Well, I won't keep you too much longer. I will close by saying that every day I think about what my father would have done, and I wish I could seek his advice. Unfortunately, he's not here to do that, but in spirit, I understand exactly what he was about. My father was a people person who believed that Trinidad and Tobago could be anything that we decided to be. Any major or reasonable goal was going to take hard work and sacrifice. It's not something that's going to happen for free and won't happen overnight. But he always believed in our ability to achieve that lofty and grand destiny. And I promise that as long as I'm able and represent the people of this great city, I will do all that I can to achieve those goals. Thank you all.
Goals, indeed, but achievable, we hope, in the next 7 years. It's hard to talk about icons from San Fernando without thinking about Mr. Basdeo Panday, a former Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, a trade unionist, a very proud pressman. His roots in San Fernando shaped his very long career of service and leadership. He could not be here with us this morning, but to read his remarks, I'd like to invite Ms. Michaela Panday to the podium.
I'm a little shorter, more petite than everybody else. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. With all protocols observed, greetings to all gathered here today. It is my honor and privilege to deliver this short note from my father, former Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, the Honorable Basdeo Panday, at the launch of this SDG Story of San Fernando, a mural unveiling. And I quote, "It is no exaggeration to say that my entire life was influenced by San Fernando. It began at the age of 12 when I went to live by my grand uncle, J.H. Dubé, who lived at 7 Ambard Street, Upper Hillside, San Fernando, and worked as a law clerk in the legal firm of J.D. Hobson, which was situated on the corner of Penitence and Harris Streets, Harris Promenade. Through his generosity, I was able to attend Presentation College, then called St. Benedict's College. After college, I worked as a law clerk in the San Fernando Magistrates Court as a note taker. There, I was exposed to the brilliant minds of men like Rupert Archibald, QC, Frank Messier, Arnold Chatur, and J.B. Kelshol, all who had offices in the vicinity. Not to mention a plethora of magistrates, Errol Ruknarine, and a host of others. I am sure it was this exposure that prompted me to become a lawyer in later years. As a young man at Presentation College, my classmate, whose father owned a furniture store on Lower Coffee Street, George Dottin, and I would reenact the silly yet entertaining activity of portraying characters in the plays we had to study for exams. I am sure this boyhood experience later inspired me to study dramatic art and become an actor. My first role being in a film called 9 Hours to Rama, which dealt with the assassination of Gandhi, whose statue adorns this promenade. High Street today is not as it used to be, nor Mukarapo Street, which housed the cinemas to which we would break beesh to attend during school hours. I suspect it was this influence that made me a politician. I also recall the cell at the police station behind us, when in 1975, the major unions representing oil and sugar workers marched in San Fernando and were met by brutal police resistance. This historic march became known as Bloody Tuesday. Perhaps Perhaps it was this incident that made me enter into politics, a venture that had unforeseen results, and the rest is history. I thank you for the invitation to be here today. Unfortunately, my health does not permit. I trust my daughter has done a better job than I may have done, and I did not add in that part. He wrote that, he really did. I thank you, and God bless.
Part of the program where we'd finally like to do the big reveal. It will require a little bit of movement, everybody. So I'd like to ask our dignitaries in the front row and the media, who I know will need to move as well, to join us at the first panel here, where we're going to do the unveiling. All the guests can follow and just form a semicircle. Our front row dignitaries can position themselves on either side of the mural, and we'll do the same thing by the second panel on the other side. And then we'll sit down again for the vote of thanks.
Watch me, I got soul. Hold on, no. Hold on.
One, two, three. Alright, so just to give everybody a sense of what you're looking at, we have Zero Hunger represented in the upper right-hand corner with our coconut vendor, our empanadas vendor, and our doubles man. Sustainable Cities and Communities, SDG 11, that's our integration of culture, fan players, Passerman, and the Para Heroes. Over on the left, we have gender equality, which is depicted by a woman entrepreneur selling in the Sandro market. Food that has been grown, and she has upgraded and upvalued that with some agro-processing to make her own hot sauce. We have our former Queens of Carnival, Ms. Bob and Ms. Duran, also part of Sustainable Cities and Gender Equality. And we have Good Health and Wellbeing, SDG number 3, with San Fernando Teaching Hospital and joggers and Hollis Park. Great.
Let's stand in. Everybody
Looking gross. Yeah. Captivated.
Somebody can point at something.
Is that you?
Someone.
Go ahead.
Pretty good? Alright, so we can walk around to the other side.
The video here, so what year 2001, 1986? According to that year, don't you get it just at all? No way you think 2001, 1986, how long ago that was? But still looking good and still beautiful and still real. So you're going to have some wife and decide to do that.
Alright, folks, we can take our seats as we wrap up.
We'll get to that. Our lobby.
Who are we missing?
We photoshopping it, don't worry.
The 70th anniversary, we happy to you.
The 70th, oh gosh, why is so?
My colleague from the UN Resident Coordinator's Office, the acting team leader, Mr. Mark Thomas, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thanks, Faye. All protocols observed. Before I get into the written part of the speech, I just wanted to say I'm looking at a Pandey, a Manning, a third generation parliamentarian, former Miss World, the author of one of the most beloved cookbooks, and the savior of many a date night in my house. And it says that San Fernando punches above its weight, right? For a relatively small city, it accomplishes really great things, both locally and internationally. And the mayor here sitting before me is a multi-hyphenate
He's also a pan man, we all know. And it says that there is a continuity to public service in San Fernando and accomplishment in San Fernando, and people willing to accomplish in many spheres, which I think is not unique to San Fernando, but it's something that San Fernando is very proud, should be very proud of. And it's, again, San Fernando punches above its weight, so San Fernandians, give yourselves a round of applause. Moments like these are a time for both looking back and looking ahead, to value the pioneers of the past and to chart our course and for future prosperity and development. But let us not forget that between the past and the future is the moment right in front of us, the here and the now. We can make the decisions, take the action, and forge the collaborations that Trinidad and Tobago needs to ensure we leave no one behind, which is the core message of the Sustainable Development Goals. It is in that spirit of collaboration that I must begin my vote of thanks by expressing the UN and Trinidad and Tobago's profound gratitude to the Mayor of San Fernando, His Worship Junior Regal, to the City Council and the team at City Hall for welcoming this project into San Fernando. You cannot conjure up an image of this city without thinking of its epicenter, Harris Promenade, and to be given a canvas such as this to capture the imagination of the public about the possibilities and promise of the Sustainable Development Goals, and it is truly an honor. Thank you, Your Worship, for partnering with us to bring this mural to the southern city. Thanks in particular to our focal point in the Mayor's office, Lizette, for working with us so closely. We have a team of UN communications experts from across all UN agencies. There are 18 UN agencies working in Trinidad and Tobago. And it's called the UN Communications Group. We must heartily thank the UNCG members for conceptualizing this project to commemorate Trinidad and Tobago's 60 years in the UN and 60 years of independence, and for identifying the second city, let's not call it the second city, as the home for this artwork. Special thanks in particular to UNHCR and UN Women for co-funding this initiative alongside the UN Resident Coordinator's Office. We truly appreciate your collaboration on this. Thane Richards, who you all know from the Resident Coordinator's Office, and Carla Bridgelal from UNHCR spent many hours leading the efforts to get this project off the ground. Thanks to both of you for making this a reality, and I can vouch for that. I've seen them up many nights debating what should go on the murals. To the artists behind the work you see today, Warren LaPlatte, thank you for your patience and persistence in trying to weave so many layers into these visuals. Not only the many SDGs we included, but also the ode to San Fernando's iconic locations, its people, its past, its present, and future. It was a lot to pack into a visual representation, but you made it happen. Let's give Warren a round of applause. To our speakers this morning, the Honorable Faris Alwari, the Honorable Brian Manning, and on behalf of the Honorable Basdeo Pandey, the Honorable Michaela Pandey. We are so very proud to have had words from 3 born and bred San Fernandians who have put their hallmark on national governance. Thank you for sharing your words on government's outlook for sustainable national development, your own memories of the way San Fernando shaped you and your families, and your love for San Fernando. To our specially invited guests, true icons of San Fernando in the areas of culture, cuisine, national leadership, and sport, thank you for accepting the invitation to support this initiative with your presence here today. We hope memorializing your contributions to Trinidad and Tobago here in the city of your birth inspires others, especially the current generation of San Fernandians, to strive for excellence in sphere of endeavor they choose. We are grateful to the members of the media for coming out this morning, and we thank the municipal police, the event setup team, the caterers for helping make this event happen. As I leave you, I urge you to learn more about the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. They are the blueprint for a better world, For TNT, where prosperity and progress are equitable and just. Support in any way you can Trinidad and Tobago's efforts to achieve these goals. Every action, no matter how small, no matter how local, putting your plastic bottle in the recycling bin, can help us get there by 2030. San Fernando can lead the way. It already is in many ways. And we encourage the city in a course for sustainable development for all. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of the formal proceedings. I'm sure members of the media may want some additional interviews or photo ops. Please feel free to orchestrate those in front of the murals. We have refreshments for you at the back. Please feel free to collect one on your way out. Thank you so very much for joining us this morning, and have a safe travel for the rest of your day.